this Omicron. Falcon hates puns and thinks that they're all wrong. One's American and one is an Aussie. Talking about StarCraft 2 and the esports scene.
Hello, and welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Always good to be here for another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour.
As always.
Yes, definitely.
So, we are running slightly behind. Do we want to jump straight into GSL? Because we have Group Stage 2 bracket. Well, groups, not the groups, not brackets. Available to look at.
We certainly do. Let's take a look.
Yes. For some reason, whenever I Google the Code S 2023 Season 1, it gives me 2022, and I click it every time, knowing that it's wrong. And then I scroll down, and I'm like, these games have already been played. There's results. And then I remember that I have to click on ongoing events instead of the wrong shit that it always gives me.
Yeah, I Google GSL SC2, and it takes me to the GSL page of Wikipedia, and then I have to click on ongoing events. So yeah, 2 steps.
Yeah. Yeah. Disappointed. Speaking of disappointment, Protoss fans.
Yeah, no kidding. What a rough group stage for Protoss fans. Nightmare knocked out, Hero knocked out, Stats knocked out, Creator knocked out.
They went from 5 to 1.
Ugh,
That's
brutal.
Yeah. So we have Group A, which is basically all Terrans. It's Maru, Gumio, Cure, and Classic.
That is so much TVT.
Yeah, that is a lot of TVT. I'm just thinking, Maru gets out. But, really, Classic probably, if I had to really guess.
Considering the state of TVP right now, I don't know, man. Let's see how he did in Group D. He got beat by Bunny in his TVP. And then defeated Innovation 2-0. Why? No. Yeah, defeated Innovation 2-0 once, but Innovation is not quite Innovation yet. So
No.
I don't know, man.
Right, but I'm more or less just comparing it to Classic, Classic to Cure and Gumio. I feel like you could beat them.
Sure, but Bunny beat him. Do we think Cure's better than Bunny?
Bunny's not here.
What do you mean?
He's in the other group. It doesn't matter. It's different players.
No, but do we think that Cure is better than Bunny?
No. Yes. No. Sorry. I think Bunny is better than Cure.
Mm-hmm. So if Bunny defeats Classic, Cure can't defeat Classic. Is that what you're telling me?
No, I don't consider the transitive property to be valid here. Right? I think most of these pros can take maps and games off each other any day of the week, and we're looking for the average here. On average, sure. I think Bunny is better than Cure, but I don't think that means Classic can never beat Cure. Either.
You think Bunny is better than Cure? Or did you say that backwards?
I don't even know anymore.
I thought we established that we think Cure is better than Bunny.
Cure was the one that won a GSL or was in the finals last. Yeah, okay, yeah. Cure was better than Bunny.
GSL 2 years ago.
2 years ago though.
Yeah,
What's he done since?
Right? Not much, honestly. We had this discussion. He wins a GSL, it's Cure broke through, and then he hasn't done anything since. And it's tough. It's a tough look when you do that. There aren't many. I was thinking about it. There aren't many people that win a GSL or win a Katowice finals and then don't do anything else for the rest of their careers, right? One-offs.
The people that are usually tend to just leave, Fruit Dealer, right?
Yeah, right. Or Harding, back when StarCraft 2 was brand new and nobody knew what they were doing, and you don't even recognize his world championship because it was so early.
Well, I think I don't recognize it because he just won a GSL. Or was that Hero we were debating? I don't remember. I remember that you called someone a world champion, and I'm like, it doesn't count. It's not
Harding.
A world champion. No, I think it was Hero. Hero.
What? Why was it Hero? What are you talking about?
Okay, we got into a debate because you labeled one of your casts GSL or world champion or something versus some other champion, and I'm
GSL champion. Yeah.
No, you called him a world champion. You called Hero a world champion, and I'm like, Hero's never won a world championship. You have, and you said, yeah, he has, and then linked me to a GSL from 2012.
Right, because it was from the era when there were no good foreigners.
Right.
And winning a GSL at that point in time meant you're the best StarCraft 2 player of all time. That has changed. Not all time, sorry. The best StarCraft 2 player at that time.
But
that has changed with Cyril, right?
Right, but that still didn't make him a world champion at the time. It made him the best in the world, but it didn't make him a world champion. Those aren't mutually exclusive.
You know what? If you want to pick that nit, you pick that nit, Samakaran. We need to clip that. He was best in the world, but he wasn't a world champion. It's like, you know what? That's fine.
Those are two different things. They are. They are.
I'm going to say no, but I'm also going to agree to disagree on that because that sounds insane to me, but I don't know how to prove you wrong. So I'm going to leave it alone.
Did he win a world championship?
I mean, like I said, I don't want to argue this. I'm just going to agree to disagree with it.
Okay, I'm going to
Aki, break the tie. Save us.
No, okay. Moving on. Look, I just want to hope for Protoss here. Like, I don't want to.
Oh yeah. From an emotional standpoint, absolutely, we want Classic to get through because it would. I mean, that's too many Terrans in the playoffs. If like, it's just two Terrans that make it through Group A. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if Classic makes it through, but I also would not be surprised if Kier makes it through. I don't see Gumio pulling it off, but
yeah, I don't see Gumio doing it either. But I always have hope as well.
Sometimes he's just weird enough, though.
Exactly. Sometimes he's like, well, you can't really practice for what I'm going to do because what I do, nobody else does, you know?
Exactly. So he 2-0'd Ryung twice to make it out of his group, but like it's Ryung and it's TVTs, so whatever.
Sure. Who else did he play? He got beaten by Dark.
He got beat by Dark. He took a map off Dark, though. Which is not bad.
Yeah.
There was one game. I cast it, and I'm posting it soon, and Gumio goes mech, and Dark's like, lol. Just at no point did Gumio have any chance of winning that entire game. Dark has the entire map. Gumio's like, I'd like a fourth base, please. And Dark's like, no, like 4 times. And it's just like,
He's like, you're playing mech, you turtle, right? That means I get the rest of the map. You don't need this fourth base.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Oh, that's rough. Okay, well, what about Group B?
Group B is Bunny, Solar, Dark, and Beyond. That's a fun group. I like it a lot. So this is, man, so we don't have a round of 8 in the playoffs because we don't have that in GSL these days.
No.
Because Solar's whole rep is making it to the round of 8 and then losing, right?
Right. Well, this you can count this as the round of 8 because there's 8 players.
It's true. There are 8 players. Let me do some quick counting. I'm good at that.
They're just not in a playoff. That's all. Like,
yeah, no, it's so 8 players. You are correct. So yeah, I don't think Solar gets through here, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Solar moves on. But who comes in second after Dark? Because I feel like Dark's the obvious pick here.
Bjorn's like
Bjorn?
number 2 in Oligulac right now. Bjorn's been on fire for the last 8 or 9 months. He's 4. He's 4 in Oligulac. Yeah.
Is that worldwide or just Terrans or just Koreans?
That's worldwide. Cyril's 1, Mars 2. MaxPax is 3 right now in some magical way. That I don't agree with.
I don't know.
We should question these rankings.
MaxPax is an interesting fellow. He's a very good player, but he just refuses to do any offline events or anything where he'd have to show his face, which makes me think he's just someone else, he's classical stats in the military or something, right?
It's this year-long scam perpetuated by stats to create this other Protoss persona.
Yeah,
that just says it's from Sweden just to screw with everyone.
Right, yeah. Just to gobble up 400 prize money. That's all.
How is he number 3? Honestly, what is going on?
Look at his recent wins. See what he's got.
All right. According to Wikipedia, let's take a look here. He recently took first at the Pigsty Festival. Good job, MaxPax. He did defeat Maru there.
Oh. Interesting.
So, holy smokes, dude. He won the Wardy TV Ellie Invitational, defeating
Cool.
Mana, which is meh. He 4-0'd Beyond back in January in the OSC Championship Season 10.
Oh.
He got beat by Cyril on Christmas, actually, last Christmas. Wardy TV Christmas Day Games 2022.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
don't
about
know.
it.
Like, big wins are he's 4-3'd Maru and 4-0'd Beyond in the last 6 months.
Right. Well,
In
I mean,
major minor tournaments, right?
yeah, ESL Open Cups, he's also 3-0 Dark.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
yeah. He 3-1 Dark in
and-
April of last year.
Yeah, I'm talking about like April of this year. He 2-0'd him in Wardy Spring Fling.
Okay.
You know, if he's regularly taking games of Dark, that's something.
Yeah, if he's taking games off Maru, Beyond, Dark, like, he belongs somewhere in here in the top 10. I'm just
3-0
exception to
Raynor.
his number 3. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
ESL in Europe. 3-0 Cure. Who did he lose to? That would be real interesting.
Dang.
I don't know if there's a way to sort by who beat someone on their own page, like on their results page. I don't think there's a way to see that. But well, I suppose I could look at his second place winnings, and that would technically tell you who beat him. So he got beaten by Cyril. He got beaten by Mixer. What?
What is happening?
One who's okay. No, hold on. He came second, but he beat Mixu 1-0. So that's
Okay.
A King of the Hill weekly thing. Yeah, that's why he's. He got beaten by Beyond. He got beaten by Hero Marine. Yeah. So you know, mixed bag. He's a mixed bag.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I'll put him in the top 10. I just don't want him at number 3 at this point, I guess. Like, win a premier tournament, and then we can talk.
Play in a premier tournament, and then we can talk.
Or that. That'd be nice, too. Yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
He's
I don't know.
apparently
I
only
always
18.
What?
He's apparently 18.
Maybe he's like 12. And the reason he doesn't want to show his face is because then he can't.
He's a minor.
Because he's 12. Because of the rules, yeah.
Yeah,
And like
maybe.
they'll kick him out until he's. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be interesting.
Yep.
Just reminds me of Disguised Toast,
Mm-hmm.
the Hearthstone guy who didn't show his face, but then he did. So maybe there's hope. There is hope yet for Max Packs.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day we'll see it.
Yep. Fingers crossed.
Anyway, yeah. How did we get on Max Packs? Oh, because we looked at Aligulac and looked at Beyond's ranking.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think Dark and Beyond are pretty much prohibitive favorites there.
Okay.
Again, we love you, Solar, but show it once. Make it to a semifinal.
You can do
Just
it.
do it, man.
You're already in the group. You're already in the round of 8. You can make it to the semis.
He always makes it to the round of 8. He's very comfortable in the round of 8. It's not even impressive to him anymore. He's just like, yes, I'm very like a warm blanket, round of 8. And then going to the semifinals is like throwing the blanket off and going outside in the snow. He hates it. Not good. Bad times. So funny. I don't know. Do it, man. Like, I wouldn't be shocked. He's got to do it at some point. It's like Sue. Sue couldn't take second places forever. He had to win something at some point, and he did.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Just hanged in there. Hung in there.
We believe in you, Solar.
Yeah. True facts.
Tall order, though, man. Dark and Bjorn are so good.
Yeah, it's like, I can't wait for him to get first out of this group and be rewarded with Maru, you know?
Yeah,
Like-
right? Congratulations. First semifinal. Here is many time GSL champion Maru. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Way to go, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Should be fun. So let's see. We're still on the 3 o'clock local time schedule. Wonderful. Good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah. No, not staying up, not getting up for these.
Definitely not.
I will, especially now that they're trying to get people to use the Afrika stream more, and they're like, we're gonna play it in a window on YouTube. I'm like, no, No. You let me full screen this, or I'm not watching.
Yeah, I don't get it, man.
Because if you go to a Freaka, it's full screen, it's proper. But if you watch it on YouTube, it's like, we're going to put it in a window, look at some shitty CGI chains.
For reasons that are unexplained.
Yeah, I mean, they literally, like, I think it would actually look better if they were just like, we're using this space to advertise our brand. Here's a picture of Hot Six. Right? Because I'm like, okay, at least they're making money off it. It's not just spiteful, which is how it feels, where they're like, you want to watch it on YouTube? No. But if they were selling the space, I'd be like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't know.
Whatever. Freaka does weird stuff, man.
It's true.
That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And how? All right. Moving on.
Is that from something where you say, and how?
And how?
Yeah, or is it just something you say? Because I thought Bad News Bears was yours, but I was wildly incorrect.
Correct. It's just a colloquialism. I don't know where it came from. Like how I mean, the other one I knew where it came from. So this is believed that the English phrase was essentially borrowed from German and Italian expressions, undui and e com, respectively.
Okay.
So it's a English colloquialism that was stolen from other languages because that's how we do.
That's how a lot of languages do, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's it. We stole it from German. I don't know. I feel like it was more popular 40s and 50s, maybe?
So you're showing your age a little.
Yeah, exactly. Back when I was a young, spry 30-year-old in 1942.
What was the war like? Were you in Nam?
I was too old. Yeah, Nam was my war. I was too old for World War II. Didn't get drafted.
Okay.
Now we know. Anyways, man, do I want to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3? I kind of do, Samacron.
I kind of do.
I've been holding off because I'm like, man, the MCU has been garbage recently.
It's not been great. I'll give it that.
I still haven't seen Ant-Man. I have no interest in Ant-Man.
Dart. It's literally not worth it.
Yeah.
What?
That was the first. I think that's the first one where I'm just like, it's an MCU movie, and I just am not going to watch it.
The Eternals.
Weird. Oh no, that was the first one. I don't even count that as an MCU film because I don't think it was.
No,
like Chloe Zhao, make a movie with heroes that do not exist in the MCU before now. Introduce 10 new characters. Go.
Right.
And then it didn't work, and it's not getting a sequel. The end.
Is it really not getting a sequel at all?
I'd be surprised.
Oh, I would be surprised as well, but I mean, they gave like Thor 2 a sequel, you know?
That's true. That's true.
And it didn't like bomb hard at the box office. Like its budget is 236 million and it made 402. So it made a profit.
But marketing.
Yeah. I mean, it made a slim profit.
Yeah, and that's not great. For an MCU movie, Disney's like, I need you to make more than a slim profit, I'm afraid. Okay, fine. So as of earlier this year, there's rumors. So according to the guy who played Gilgamesh,
who the fuck was Gilgamesh?
I don't know. I didn't watch this movie.
I did, and I don't remember who that is.
Gilgamesh is like a biblical name. Like,
yeah,
like old time, like Old Testament biblical name. Like thousands of years ago biblical name.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm trying to remember who it was in this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It is planned to be produced, is what he said about Eternals sequel.
Oh, it was Don Lee.
Sure.
He was one of the he was a character in that movie. I remember
one of the 10 new characters they introduced in this movie, which was just like, whose idea was this? Who sat down and said, we're gonna do a new MCU movie, introduce 10 new characters in here, and expect audiences to keep up? Like,
not only that, they put in like sequel bait for Jon Snow like to be in it.
Yeah. So it's like 11.
Yeah, really, because you're supposed to pay attention to that guy as well. It's like, boy.
I know who he is. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking at the movies that came out recently. So, they called it, instead of Phase 4, they're calling it the Multiverse Saga, which phases 4 through 6 apparently collectively known as the Multiverse Saga, which I've never heard that phrase before. But given that multiverses tend to lead to, like, crazy batshit nonsense, it makes sense for these movies to be all crazy batshit and shit.
Yep.
But I mean, they're including Black Widow on there, which seems the least multiverse of anything. The Black Widow movie was pretty straightforward.
0% multiverse. They didn't even say the word multiverse in that movie.
No.
Yeah.
So we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which was not bad.
Not multiverse. Nope.
Not really. The rings had some like mystical powers, and mystical powers in general come from
people. Sure.
Yeah, but other than that,
do anything other than go laser beam.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Then we have the Eternals, which I love the Eternals because it ended the movie with a half a celestial leaning outside of the planet, and then they just never go back to it. Like,
it's been like 6 movies since then, and no one has even referred. No, She-Hulk. She was on the internet, and there was a sidebar thing that was like, "What about the guy sticking out of the earth?" And that was it.
That was it.
Click on this and read about it if you wanted to, but that's the only reference in all of the MCU to that since that movie.
There was a banner ad for it. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was, like on news sites, it's like, click this article for more. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's a clickbaity thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Spider-Man No Way Home, which was very multiverse, but also a very good movie.
So good.
Very good movie. The best out of Phase 4, I think, by far.
Easily.
Because the next one in line is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which was Sam Raimi, and I have issues with Sam Raimi's films. They're just not my style. I thought it was okay, but not my thing.
See, it's interesting because I felt like the first half of the film was very generically MCU and kind of like bland. And then when they let Raimi do Raimi stuff, I thought it got real interesting. Like when it was like, oh yeah, Sam Raimi's directing this. Look at him do Raimi things. I was like, oh, I'm a little bit more interested now. Not like really invested, but it picked up in my opinion.
Yeah, Sam Raimi does Sam Raimi things for like 30 minutes too long.
Fair.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Then we had Thor, Love and Thunder.
Which is a mess.
It's got some problems.
Super mess. Yeah.
Yeah. It turned a profit though. Like a big profit. 250 million for 760.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Yep. And then Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. Fine.
I haven't seen it.
I
haven't seen it.
I've got my issues with it, but I don't know, it's kind of standard MCU fare. Like there's nothing different about it in any way, really.
Fair enough. And then Ant-Man and the Wasp, which is the start of Phase 5.
Yeah.
I mean, what separates Phase 5 from Phase 4? I have no idea. Like, there's no, like, end of phase movie to, like, tie a theme together or anything. They're just drawing an arbitrary line at this point. Because, Phase 1 was, like, Avengers, and then Avengers 2, right?
I think Phase 1 just ended with, like, this is the end. I don't think Avengers was Phase 2.
No.
You're right.
Avengers was Phase 1, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So they did Iron Man, Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Cap, and then Avengers.
Yeah. Phase 2 apparently ended with Ant-Man, just after Age of Ultron.
See, there you go. Sometimes they just end it. I don't know, man.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I get that these movies were produced in that order, but they released May 1st and July 17th. They literally could have just, like, held off on Avengers until after Ant-Man. Because after that, you have Civil War, which immediately brings Ant-Man back in. Like, they could have just been like, hey, forget about Ant-Man for just, like, a second, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you could have had another Avengers movie as an end cap, and it would have made sense. Yeah. Phase 3 ended with Spider-Man Far From Home, which came out after Endgame. I feel like that one should have been pushed down. Like, just either draw the line somewhere else, make it, like, Like the phases mean something. They
Yeah.
they used to at least pretend to mean something. Now they're just bullshit. Turns out they were always bullshit. But I'm mad about bullshit apparently.
It's just Phase 1 worked so well. Like Iron Man is like the first good MCU movie that they made, and everybody loved it. And Cap was pretty good, and Hulk was kind of garbage. But they're like, all right, we're getting some momentum here. And then Avengers knocked everybody out of the knocked everyone's socks off, and they're like, oh,
Oh,
okay, this whole thing can work. And that's what really got it off the ground.
Yeah.
So,
220 million to 1.5 billion for Avengers. It's crazy.
and I mean, not to say it came out of nowhere, but man, people did not have expectations for this film. They were like, this has never worked before. If you try to do an ensemble hero movie, it's just messy and doesn't make sense, and it's hard to have all the characters mean things, and it was great. So yeah, Phase 1, good times, good memories with Phase 1.
Yeah, Phase 1, good times. What do we
Here's
have?
a question: which movie do you think is better, Infinity War or Endgame? Because I listened to a podcast where they argued this for like an hour and a half, and I was like,
Oh,
okay,
geez.
I have a very particular opinion on this.
My opinion, well, my guess is that you prefer Infinity War.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I like Endgame more.
Interesting.
But it's narrow. It is narrow.
Yeah, and that's what they were talking about in the podcast. They're like, look, this is narrow. I'm not saying if I like this one, the other one is garbage, because that's not how I feel about it. Yeah, okay, so that's good.
Yeah. I mean, from my perspective, it is simply a set. You have to watch movies back to back like that. It's like I don't pick really between like Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and Return of the King. I like Return of the King the best because it's like the finale. Everything's settled. There's no in theory, there are no hanging threads that need to be addressed. Anything that's been dropped's been dropped for a while, and it's the same with Endgame, more or less, where it's like, okay, this story is done. I don't feel like I need another movie to like have resolution on everything.
Yes. I get that.
Yeah.
I do. I just feel like Infinity War is a better start to finish film, and that Thanos is the protagonist of the film, and his story is the most coherent and clear of anyone in Infinity War or Endgame. He's got a goal. He works towards accomplishing it. He makes sacrifices. There are setbacks. He's clear with what he wants to do and his goals, and he accomplishes his goal. And you get to know him over the course of the whole film, and he's just like by far the best villain like in the history of the MCU. I mean, not that there is a lot of competition there, right?
I'm having a look, and I'm like, I don't think there's a lot of competition for like best villain.
No.
I mean, in a meta way, Tony Stark is the best villain, but that's like his ego is self-perpetuating his own conflict, you know, and the things he does basically set up all the events of major other villains. So in a weird way, like headcanon, Tony Stark's ego is the best villain.
I agree with that. That's a very good take. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's hard to separate the movie portraying Thanos as the hero of his own story and doing a thing with the utter nonsense that is his plan to like achieve his goals. It's like, oh, I'm the hero of my own story, and but like we're supposed to be able to like empathize with him and see where he's coming from, and then he's like, well, I'm just gonna like remove half the universe. And it's like, you think that would work? Does that solve the problem? Like it kind of like it's like a flaw that runs through it that I don't like in him, like in Infinity War, but in Endgame when they're like doing time travel shenanigans, he's still in a kind of like blood and fire Thanos, who's like, I'm gonna try and kill half the universe, but I'm gonna do it through martial arts. It's a flawed philosophy, but we know it won't work because you can't, like, just slaughtering across the entire galaxy isn't something you could do in a lifetime.
Yeah, there's too many people in the universe.
Right. So I kind of like it better as a flawed ideology there.
Okay, that's fair. The thing with Endgame is he's not our Thanos.
Mm.
Like the Thanos who snapped and
Mhm.
who defeated the Avengers and has a personal grudge against the Avengers and the ones that they hate, the
Mhm.
one they defeated in Endgame is not the same guy. And it kind of lessens the impact for me.
I mean, but it is the same guy.
It's
they
not.
they time traveled. It's the same guy.
No, it's not. It's the guy from 2012.
But but he would
I
have
know it's Thanos.
but he would have become that guy had the timeline straight out the same. Like,
So we go back in time and defeat baby Hitler, and it's as cathartic and means as much as defeating adult Hitler, who is doing the Holocaust, right?
yeah, sure.
Kind of no,
I mean,
definitely not.
there's a little bit of a difference between baby Hitler and adult Hitler, because baby Hitler still didn't like have a helicopter sword and was actually killing a ton of people, right?
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm
God, I
just
need that
saying,
on a loop. You're right. You're
it's-
right. You're right. You're right.
It's not it's just not the Thanos that comes through the time portal
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know who the Avengers are.
Is it pre, like, from his timeline? Is it pre Avengers 1, right? Like, he hasn't met Loki. He hasn't given him the scepter. He hasn't, like, given the Chitauri and trying to invade Earth. Is it pre all that?
I think it is.
Okay.
He's on his quest to wipe out half of the galaxy, but like he hasn't run into the roadblock that is Earth and the Avengers yet.
Mm.
So like he shows up and these dudes are like, "Oh, it's Thanos," and they start fighting him, and he's like, "Okay." Like, it doesn't mean anything to him.
Well,
You know what I mean?
I mean, but it does mean something to him, because he is a man who is believed so self-righteously that he is inevitable. Like this,
Yeah.
like, I am going to do what I can. Well, I'm going to do what I think I'm going to do. He believes himself to be the chosen one, to be special, to wield these Infinity Stones, and then he basically gets prophecy as people come back in time to try and stop him, right? Like, and he goes, "Oh shit, I did
Well,
it. I'm right." He is a man who is possessed of self-belief, and that's what he is in that movie.
He gets thrust forward in time. I'm just gonna pick that nit.
I mean,
No
yeah.
one comes back in time to try to stop him. He gets thrust forward in time, and these guys are like, "Oh, it's Thanos, kill him."
Well, I mean, that's semantics, because they do go back in time to try and stop him, but not stop him in back in time.
Right. It's true.
So it's meant, but yes, no, you're right. You're right. He gets thrust forward in time, but he does run into some of them in the past. Because that's how he gets Nebula or Gamora. I don't remember who it is.
Just Nebula.
Yeah. Because he hacks her brain from Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And sees visions of the future that she's got recorded. Because she keeps everything locally. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. There's dumb stuff in that movie. I'm just saying. The story of Thanos ends on that remote gardening planet when Thor beheads him.
Okay.
That Thanos, the Infinity War Thanos, dies there.
Mm-hmm.
And the Thanos that they have to defeat in order for the audience to get this cathartic, like, we defeated the bad guy, is not that dude. Like, not even remotely.
They are
quite work for me.
They are close enough. Like, I'll grant you that they're different, but they're close enough for me. They're totally close enough for me. Where I'm like,
yes.
This person's drive and willpower is his like defining characteristic, the thing that motivates him to do this unspeakable evil thing, and like both of them have that, and that's what we're stopping.
Yeah, I get it, but like some dude burns your house down
Mm-hmm.
and like kills your family,
Mm-hmm.
and you go back in time 5 years, find this dude and kill him, right? He's probably still a crazy son of a bitch who's probably burning down other houses, but he hasn't harmed you yet, right? Isn't that kind of weird? It's kind of weird. No, it's not. Okay.
Well, I mean, if your house burns down and your family dies and you just invent a time machine to get back to him, that's weird, right? Like,
it is. That's my other problem with Endgame.
that part's the weird part. But I'm like, if I don't think it's weird to go and confront someone who was burning down houses. You know, it's like
I know, but he hasn't harmed you yet.
he's harmed a lot of people, though.
I know, but you're just performing a generic service to society at
that's
that
what
point.
that's
It's
what
not
the Avengers
personal
do. That's what the
I
Avengers
know. But the story of Infinity War gets incredibly personal. Friggin' Spider-Man turns into ash in Iron Man's arms. That is a personal loss for Iron Man. It is not a generic, we're saving the universe from this madman Thanos. This is we want to kick this guy's ass because he killed people we love.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right, and by the fight at the end, they're like, we have to kill him because he will kill people we loved. People we loved are still dead, and if they just start to come back now, he will kill them again. Right?
Yeah, no, I know. But it's not the same dude. Like, Scarlet Witch is like, you took everything from me, and he's like, I have no idea who you are. He's very explicit about this. He doesn't know who any of these people are. It's a weird fight. That's all. That's it.
I feel like you like that's what the Avengers do, though, right? Like,
I know. Look,
I mean,
like the fight at the start of Ultron, right? They're in some random country hunting down terrorists. They don't have a personal connection to these terrorists at all.
Well, they're hunting down Hydra, so yeah, they kind of do.
Isn't it one specific dude with like a black mask, and he's gonna blow some stuff up? Blah blah blah. Like it's
that's the start of Civil War.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And then Scarlet Witch like tries to like stop a bomb from exploding, but sends it into a building.
Yeah.
I watched that movie 2 days ago.
Oh, good. Thank you for helping.
Yeah.
But like that guy, like that's them. They're world policing. They show up. They apprehend a terrorist. They have no personal connection to.
They have a personal connection with him.
What is it?
In Captain America Civil War, he was the leader of the Special Ops Forces, and Captain America dropped a building on his face. Like, he used to run... He runs Spec Ops with that guy, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. turned out to be Hydra. He just went, like, full criminal. So they were hunting for him.
Say in Civil War, isn't the scene I'm talking about at the beginning of Civil War?
The scene where he's, like, trying to get a contagion or something from, like, a play. That's in Civil War, but they know who that guy is.
From what? You said from Civil War.
Oh, I thought I said from Winter Soldier. Excuse me.
Oh, on the ship?
Yeah, he's on the ship, but like at the end of the movie, they drop the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters on him. He's the dude who's like fighting him in the elevator. He's one of those guys.
That guy?
Yeah, he's in a bunch of movies.
I didn't even know it was that guy.
He takes off his mask and he's like, I think I look pretty good, all things considered. You're supposed to recognize him at that point.
I certainly did not. Oh my God.
There you go.
That's the funniest thing. So they tried to have me be like, oh, it's this guy. It's personal. And I was just like, random terrorist, neat.
I mean, I think they set it up as random terrorists because they literally like are in somewhere in Africa. I can't remember. I think it's Nigeria. Right. And they're like, whoever this guy is, he's going to hit a police station. And I'm like, this random police station? Why?
Yeah.
They're like scoping out this police station and they're like, oh, there's a Jeep down the road that's got bulletproof windows or something. We need to keep an eye out for that. You never see that car, by the way, in that movie.
Right.
And then they're like, oh no, it's a decoy. They're going for the center of disease, which is next door to the police station. And they didn't look into it at all.
It's some poor planning by the Avengers there.
Yeah.
Okay. We got a little sidetracked. I'm just saying, generally, the Avengers are world police.
Yes, they do allude to the fact that there have been events that are not depicted on screen, which would just be random people, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which makes the Thanos thing different from the normal world policing. Because it is world policing, but also the people who got snapped our loved ones of our vendors who remain.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's all I'm trying to establish here.
Look, I agree that it's different, but it's what they do.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
But Endgame is supposed to be the cap of the Avengers story, right? So it's supposed to be different from just world policing.
It
That's
is.
what Infinity War sets up.
It's galactic police.
Infinity War sets up Thanos royally pissing off everyone in the Avengers, specifically.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
pissing off a lot of people, I imagine.
So many people, but specifically, what we are shown is the Avengers.
Yeah, yeah. I would say like breaks them. Like this is the Avengers' lowest moment. They're not like you can say angry, but like there's a 5-year gap there, and it's hard to hold on to that fury. What we get at the start of Endgame is the immediate moments where like Thor's anger is really like demonstrated when he's like, I went for the head and killed him.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie, it's like 5 minutes in our time, but it's 5 years for them. Like, there's a lot of like depression going on from the rest of the Avengers at that point. Totally. Black Widow's throwing herself into her work, right? Like, really becoming a recluse and just like basically the CIA or something, like keeping tabs on literally everyone.
She's world policing. Yes,
but
she's the only Avenger doing Avenger things right now.
That's what I'm saying. At the end, by the time the Endgame proper starts, what we have is an Avengers who do not have an immediate emotional resentment to Thanos, and more of a I don't want to say like a cold practicality because that's also not true, but just a more of a duty to kill him than than just, anger. It's
boy, I did screw with that.
No, I don't think, like I said, I don't think they're cold about it, but they have it like principally what they're trying to do is revive everyone who has snapped, right? Yes. Like they don't actually do it to kill Thanos again. He just shows up and then they're like, oh, okay, I guess we kill this guy now. Like it's
right. They killed him. It didn't bring anybody back, and then they're like, we really need to bring people back. Right.
So the movie,
and then he just shows up out of nowhere, and they're like, ah, crap.
Yeah, and then
accurate.
And then they're like, okay, well, a villain showed up. We have to kill him. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Cool.
But it's not Thanos. Like that's the whole point I'm trying to make here.
But it is Thanos. It's right.
But you know what I'm saying. Just like say you know what I'm saying here.
I know the word you're saying.
The you of 10 years ago is not the same Omicron as now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
But I'm very similar.
Uh-huh.
I might even be wearing some of the same clothes that I had 10 years ago. Not like on me right now. This is new. But
good. Well done.
I'm just saying, Thanos changes very little in 10 years' time. Probably. Like he knows some specific grudges, but he literally has the same armies. He has the same ship. He has the same henchmen. He has the same daughter, and he's still doing the same vile things he's always been doing.
He's already the Mad Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Anyway, that's just it's a quibble about Endgame and something that I felt the first time I saw it. I was just like, why are they trying to pretend this is the Thanos who did the snap? It's weird. That's all. And I have a hard time because so Infinity War happens. We talked about this when the movie came out. I'm like, okay, if you're trying to make us think that the snap is permanent, don't dust your baby Spider-Man who is making you billions of dollars. Like, there's no way Tom Holland got killed in the MCU. I'm sorry.
Right? They got 3 more movies out of him at minimum.
Right. So the fact that they tried to make us be like, oh no, it's so sad, and be like,
what I would say to that is that these are superhero movies, and The good guys always win. Right? Like they could have killed anyone, and I would have been like, yeah, that's sure, buddy.
But they did. They killed Iron Man. They killed Robert Downey Jr. And you were like, yeah, right. He's coming back. In Endgame? No, you weren't.
No,
Right?
they didn't kill him in Endgame. They killed him in, but I mean, they killed Gamora and she came back. So why the fuck not? You know?
No, again, it's not the same Gamora.
So they could bring back Iron Man and have it not be the same Iron Man. Like there was rumors in Multiverse of Madness that on the Illuminati would be a Tom Cruise playing Iron Man, who's like leader of the Illuminati. It's like, okay, well, you've got that Iron Man now. It's fine. It's a weird choice, but okay.
Yeah, that would certainly be interesting. I'm just saying that they did kill a character. Right. Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is gone. So
they could
have done a version of the Snap with Avengers that don't have ongoing storylines and don't have future movies planned. That's all I'm saying. They could have done that.
Sure. That is true, but I feel like you need any group slaughter like that just doesn't ever gonna feel permanent for me. You know?
Okay.
Especially when it's like a mystical kind of thing where they're like they turn to dust. If like when Vision gets the stone pulled out, I'm like, oh, they just left a corpse on the ground. That's Vision is dead, right? Like I'd a much more because you get a body, right? Like you get this can't be healed with magic. Like this can't be undone. Their souls aren't trapped in some magical stone somewhere. We just have a dude with a hole in his head.
You know what we just saw happen in that movie, Somicron?
What did we see?
Time reversed and bringing him back to life so that Thanos could get the stone.
Yeah.
He was a body on the ground. Thanos went, whoop, and fixed him.
That's if you have the Infinity Stone, right? Like, not everyone has an Infinity Stone. I'm still playing by the rest of the MCU rules, where not everyone's walking around with a Time Stone.
I know. It's just funny that the one example you gave of, oh, there's a body, he's dead, was reversed after 4 seconds.
Okay.
In the movie.
In my defense, what I was referring to is when Thanos rips the stone out of him after reversing him. So he dies, and then they reverse it. And then, do you know what they do? They kill him again. And you know what you have? A body on the ground with a hole in it.
Yeah. And you know what could have happened there? Time reversed, and he comes back again.
No.
Because we have that ability.
But we don't. Vision never comes back.
It's true. He doesn't, but doesn't mean he couldn't have. I'm just
sure.
saying, there was nothing permanent about that. The MCU could have chosen to bring him back easy peasy.
Oh, yeah. They could do that with anything, right?
Right.
Literally anything.
The body on the ground, I don't think gives us anything.
I think it does. I think it, under normal circumstances, it does. Like, because think about it. Think about all the permanent deaths. We have 3. We have Black Widow, who's dead on the ground on some planet because Hawkeye didn't retrieve her body.
Apparently,
he had the rope to go because he would have had her back when they go back to the platform after the end of all the time. He would have been like physically holding a dead person.
Maybe he went back later. I don't know, man.
Who knows how that shit works? Okay.
Anyway, fine. She's gone. Right.
But there's a dead body at the bottom of a cliff, right? There's Vision, who's a dead body with a hole in it, and then there's Iron Man with his hand blown off. You know?
True.
All 3 tend to leave physical, corporeal bodies that are just beaten and bloodied and dead, you know?
Yep.
Not magically dusted. So
magic dusting does not have a sense of permanence.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
Good times.
I don't know if we convinced each other, but
no.
Infinity War versus Endgame. It's a good discussion, I think.
They're a good pair. They're good movies.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited to get up to them again. Because my friend Joe was like, "Hey, do you want to watch all the Marvel movies in order?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, that's a lot of movies."
All of them?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. We skipped like 5 or 6 because she was like, I haven't seen all of them, and I haven't seen all of them in order. So I'm like, okay, let's watch them in order. And then we get to Thor, and she's like, I think I've seen this. Can we skip it? I'm like, okay. Oh. And then we get to Thor.
It's a rewatch, lady.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to do them all in order. We skipped the Incredible Hulk because she was like, I don't care about the Hulk. I'm like, okay, well, that movie's okay. And then we get to Thor: The Dark World, and she's like, I don't want to watch this. I'm like, okay. And because we're watching them in chronological order, there's also like Captain Marvel, and she's like, no, I think I've seen this one. I don't want to watch that. Yeah.
I don't think she understands what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I think she's seen most of them, or at least enough of them that she doesn't care. But we just finished Ant-Man and then Civil War the other day. So that's cool.
Cool.
Yep.
I still think they should have just done the comic Civil War story instead of trying to make their own thing.
No, I don't think they should have done the comic Civil War. The comic Civil War story is way too big. And they have
conflict.
Yeah.
It's a lot clearer for the audience if one side is we should be allowed to have our secret identities, and the other side is we shouldn't be allowed to have our secret identities, right?
The problem is that these people have never had secret identities. The only people who have secret identities are Ant-Man and Spider-Man at that point, right? Like everyone else is a known quantity.
Yeah, good point. I guess that probably came up at the meeting. Like, could you just do the comic story? It's like, well, like 2 people have a secret identity and no one else does.
Remember Winter Soldier when Black Widow published all of Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D.'s files on the internet that had everyone's like social security numbers? I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, we kind of messed up the ability to do that story a long time ago.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Civil War. Fine, I guess.
It's a good movie. I liked it. Cool.
Yes. All right. Quick plug for Barry. Oh man, Barry's good.
Barry.
It is wrapping up its final season. So it's like coming to the end of the story now, and I think it's nailing it. And it's not done, but it's close.
It's getting there.
Yeah, and it is sticking the landing. It could just go completely off the rails and be terrible for the last 2 episodes, but I don't see that happening.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
Barry's great. Sorry, you were gonna. Oh, you want to talk about your terrible isekai?
No.
Okay.
No. It's like there's a modicum of hope that it might be good after this, like a tiny little bit. It'll still be dumb and childish and silly, and that's fine. But like it has actual story happening briefly. Like I mean it sounds weird to say, but whether the rest of the story has been like we sit around and we drink wine and we try and gain some followers or some shit. Like nothing's really meant anything, and now it's like, oh, okay. Now we have like actually established like shit happening. But they're probably gonna blow it in like an episode. So don't hold out for Kamikatsu working for a god in a godless world.
I will not expect it to show up on any best of lists in the next few months.
It might show up on a best of anime that start with the letter K, released in 2023 summer season. Maybe. I haven't looked to see what else is out, but if you like narrow it down to hyper specific, it might.
Drill all the way down.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
and I did want to talk about really quick. So last week, Pornhub blocked access to its site for people in Utah.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah.
What do you do then?
There's like 87,000 other porn sites out there. Like I don't know what the real big deal is, to be honest with you. Yeah. So the Utah State Legislature passed the law, or is talking about passing a law requiring basically like, what did they call that when the Blizzard Forum started doing that? Real ID?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Like forcing users on the porn platform sites to like basically give their driver's license or something, right? To prove that they're an adult.
Okay, yeah.
And so that in general Pornhub is against, but also Utah's like, and it's up to the platform to implement this system. We're not going to do it. So they're like, screw you guys. So they blocked all traffic coming from Utah to their site last week.
So they were like, we want you to implement an ID system that will make everyone who uses your site publicly available, like give their real names, right? Essentially.
Yeah, I mean, they don't need it publicly available. Pornhub needs to know it.
Pornhub, yeah, okay, yeah.
Right.
But they were like, we can't enforce it. We're not even going to try. And Pornhub was still just like, well, block for no reason. But we don't have to do anything. We could just leave it as is.
Yeah. Pornhub was like, we take exception to this whole concept. We don't think our customers should have to identify who they really are to use our site.
Mm-hmm.
It should be an anonymous experience, and we're philosophically opposed to what you're trying to do. So, blah.
I mean, I guess good on them for taking a stand against legislation they don't agree with. I guess. Like
but again, they're not the only game in town.
Right.
Like,
right. But wildly enough, that's what real activism looks like. Like I
just don't know it's doing what it wants to do.
Look, I mean, they might not be the only game in town, but they might be the biggest. And
for sure.
I mean, people might be writing some one-handed letters to their senator or their congressman this minute. You know.
Yeah. If you go to the site, it has this message that's like you can't access our site now because of the stuff that we're opposed to. Like, like talk to your legislature about this and say you don't want it. And it's like, I don't want to do that.
That's not why I came here. My mind is far from my congressman at the minute.
I am not interested in politics at the current moment, sir.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, so I'm curious how long they're going to keep it up. I'm curious if you guys are like, screw you guys, we're doing this anyway.
Good pun.
Lol. Yeah, the accidental puns are good ones. Yeah, I just thought it was crazy. I'd never heard of a similar story to that before. It was nuts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
And plus, it just this is something I think about a lot, but just the control over the internet that companies can have, right?
Sure.
It's just not something that is like readily comes to mind. Like if you think of the internet as this wide open, free, wild west thing, you can access anything at any time, right? But that is not true. Turns out
that has not been true for a while, I think. I mean, because if your definition of like this broke my this belief that I had about the internet, it's like, well, they've been able to block traffic from wherever they want for basically ever.
I mean, not forever.
Well, not forever, but like long enough. Anyone big enough, like that has global recognition like that, could have done it easily enough.
Yeah, I mean, so you're talking 10 years, 20 years? Like what is
10, I mean, 15 at least, I would say. Like from when I was on the internet, easily, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, it's just not something that is that comes up a lot.
Right.
Yeah, that's all.
Mm-hmm. As someone who's had to put up with like not age restrictions, like content is not available in your region restrictions for a long time.
Right.
You know, it's
right. That's a good point. Yeah, YouTube has been doing that for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, YouTube and tons of other places. Wow.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and last thing, tickets are on sale for the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, is that the new animated one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So just like doing No Way Home again.
I mean, don't know. That's kind of what the first one was, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Again.
First, honestly. Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely gonna get tickets for that. So that comes out June 2nd here.
Yeah, you got time. You got time.
Yeah. Just a heads up. I'll be talking about that probably.
Mm-hmm. I'll keep an ear out for when it comes out, and then I'll go see it.
Deal.
Yep.
All right, cool. Time to wrap it up.
Yep.
Excellent. So that is going to be it from us today. This has been Falcon Paladin Omicron coming at you with yet another edition of the Falcon Paladin Hour. You can support the podcast directly by watching it here on twitch.tv/Somicron when it is live or as a VOD. Also, the VODs are exported to youtube.com/@Somicron if you're a YouTube person.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's there.
And you can support the podcast also at patreon.com/Somicron and by buying merch at falconpaladin.store. That does directly support the podcast. So there you go.
Yep. All true facts.
Very good. So until next time, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for sticking with us. And until